You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Hey there, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Pete Sheppard Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network. How's everybody doing this morning? Sorry, a little late, but we're getting things going today. How's everybody doing? Hope you had a great weekend. It was a crazy weekend. It really was. In more ways than one outside the sports world. And then we had barbarism that took place last night at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, which we'll get to. Hopefully a lot of video to show everybody today. Angel's working on some links to send out, but apparently we have an issue with Twitter this morning as far as broadcasting. And we're trying to get you a link to some other where you can watch the show and hear the show. All over. I know you can at least go to my Facebook page. So anyway, let me just tell you, good morning. Welcome. It is the Pete Sheppard Show at the Coastal Sports Network video platform. Check us out at Twitter X. So this morning, usually it's at PShep326. So again, there's some issues today. Also on my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube, powered by Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, and Sports Radio 102.9. The phone number, 727-858-6650. First and foremost, I want to thank my wonderful neighbors next door, Andrea and Mike, for allowing us to piggyback my Wi-Fi at my house today. We had some bad lightning again yesterday and knocked my Wi-Fi out, and it won't be back on until between 8 and 10 this morning Eastern Standard Time when they decide to come. Some other people I found out on our street here in the community I live in also had their Wi-Fi knocked out. So hopefully, well, thank God, at least I'm looking at full Wi-Fi service right now, which is great. So thanks to my neighbors for generously allowing me to piggyback on them. And the little glitch we had this morning had nothing to do with the Wi-Fi. It has to do with the system that we broadcast over. And they're apparently having some issues with some of our social media platforms. This one isn't on us. It's not on Angel. And usually it's not on us anyway. But Angel's done a great job, and we'll get to him in a second. I know he's putting together some links for people. I'm looking at my Facebook page right now, so I know that you can at least go there to watch and hear the show. As I said, I'm not sure about everything else, but we will. We'll get to all of it. Here on the show, great show lined up for you today. Coming up at 9:05 a.m., Steve Buckley from The Athletic, and we'll talk about the Red Sox. We're over the furthest, like 67 games left, so we're past the halfway point, which would be 81. But we always consider going into the All-Star break, where everybody is and kind of the identity of this team. Red Sox won again yesterday over the Kansas City Royals, taking 2 out of 3. So Steve Buckley will talk all things baseball and the Red Sox from The Athletic with him. Then at 9:30, my other good friend Kevin Winter from ESPN Radio. You know him, the big studio host for all of these main events, play-by-play for college football as well. He does from time to time. Also does a great job, and one of the great guys in the business. So 727-858-6650. There's so many videos I want to play for you guys from what happened last night. We have to start yesterday. We'll get to all the soccer stuff in a second. Yesterday, I did something I haven't done in years. I watched Wimbledon from start to finish, the men's final, and it was fascinating to me. Carlos Alcaraz wins in 3 sets over Novak Djokovic for his second Wimbledon title. It was fascinating. It was one of the most fascinating 3-game sets sweeps you'd ever see in tennis. We usually think they were boring, whatever else. There was some drama. It was fantastic. And Carlos Alcaraz got a lot. What a day for Spain. Alcaraz wins Wimbledon, and then Spain wins the Euro 2-1 over England, where there was not a riot, incredibly, yesterday. The only riot yet happened yesterday was in this country in Miami. So I watched the Wimbledon final yesterday, and when that was done, I watched the entire Red Sox game from start to finish at on the baseball package and the beating Kansas City. I actually started watching Baltimore and the Yankees. They came on at 11:30, So I started watching that after Wimbledon was over. Had Baltimore Yankees on because it was one of those days where it looked like it was going to lightning and downpour at any moment. So just hung in most of the day, hung out with the dog. Peanut Gallery did some errands, and then I just watched baseball all day. And then we lost the internet yesterday at about, I want to say, 3:45, right around that time, 3:45. And Wi-Fi went out, and we had lightning. And you sit there and have to go in the router box, and then I sent some pictures to Angel, and he called me. We're trying to walk through stuff that I'd already done, and he had some other suggestions that I hadn't done. It didn't matter. You could just tell. I actually tried to reset it this morning just in case. That didn't happen either. But we got it. Look, my neighbors were great. Andrea and Mike across right next door to me, my good friends from Minnesota, and they allowed me to piggyback on here. So the problem is not Wi-Fi, but Angel Martinez, good morning. Happy Monday. What a start we have here.
Indeed. Wow. How about that for a start off for the voices? My voice is completely dry this morning. Good morning, Pete. Good morning.
I just retweeted your post. Yeah.
No, yeah, unfortunately, this is beyond our control. We had nothing to do with this whatsoever. There's certain things that we have zero control over. So unfortunately, the platform cannot, for some reason, go out to Twitter. It's happened before in the past, but it's been a long time ago when different companies do different updates that we hope that they work. Sometimes they just don't. So this is beyond our control. But you can still view us over on the website, on the actual live player that's there. Here on Pete's page, which you guys can see on Facebook, my page on Facebook, also on YouTube as well. But for right now, for everybody who's on Twitter that can't see the show, then the quickest way they can do is just go right to the website and they'll see the live web player there, and they can hear the show and still make the comments live to the show as well. So I'm pretty sure it'll take a minute before everybody kind of catches on and switches over. But
well, I'm looking on Twitter. Angel, on Coastal Sports Network, and it's not being shown there either.
Yeah, no, on
CSN Florida.
Yeah, it won't come up on none of the Twitter destinations. It'll come up, unfortunately, because again, they're having an issue trying to push out the show over to Twitter. So none of the Twitter handles are going to work. So right now, the only way they'll be seeing us is, like I said, right through the web player on the website at sr1029thegame.com. Also, obviously on the digital sports app, you guys can hear us because I'm hearing us right now live on the radio, and the same way with the Facebook pages. So limited destinations this morning, but eventually everybody will catch up. This is why I constantly say to folks.
And Angel, I just lost you.
All right. Just refresh.
There you go. Now you're back.
Okay. So
lost you for a second.
And this is why I keep asking.
You're there.
Yeah, that's why I keep asking folks to download the app. Go to the website, download the brand new app. So when things happen, I can send out a push notification to everybody in the morning in case things like that happen. Not only that way people can understand exactly where we are. So it's a lot to deal with in the morning, unfortunately. I see the people now climbing over to the website because you can see us. You can see they're making their way over to the website. So this is why I keep asking, and I'll say it again here at the top of the hour and at 8:30, to please download the brand new app. In case something like this happens in the morning, I can send a message out to everybody who has the app, and everybody will know exactly where we are in the morning. So this is, again, beyond our control. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with Pete. It's just the driver that we use to get out there.
Well, I just got a message. I just got a message from our friends at EVMUX. Says there shouldn't be any issue at the moment. If you encounter any problems, please reach out to support at evmux.com. So weird.
Yeah.
Weird stuff. But anyway, all right. Well, let's try to do the best show we can. Still, our guests can still be seen via video when they come on today, correct?
Yes. Everybody still be able to see and hear them, because that has zero part to do with anything else.
All right, Angel. If we may, I'm just gonna let you see this video. What happened last night in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium is absolutely nothing short of barbarism. I'm trying to think. Can you imagine if something like this happened for a Super Bowl, a World Series, a Stanley Cup, or NBA Finals, or an Indy 500, any big time event? This is nothing short of absolute barbarism. what happened last night at Hard Rock Stadium. You know, and I knew it was coming. I told Peanut Gallery yesterday, about 5 hours before. I said, "You watch tonight. Something's either going to happen before this match or after." I wouldn't have been caught dead in anywhere near that stadium last night or earlier in the day, because you could see it coming. And these poor security people. What do you need? The fucking National Guard to be there for a match like this? Obviously, you did. There wasn't enough security. Some of the people that were there in security were just they just weren't. You could tell they weren't properly trained. But you couldn't. I don't blame them, because it's not their fault. It's not their fault. I'm just in shock and awe, and I'm disgusted. And you got little kids there, families and everything. So, Angel, can we play Luis Miguel Ikagara? I forget. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. He works for ESPN Deporte. It's on my Twitter page.
Yeah.
If we can play that video, that would be great. This is just 2 minutes, and I want you to listen in, because you might have to translate some of the stuff that happened. But if you could play that video, this is the beginning, before the match even started. You all know it got delayed so long. So this is before the match even started. Check this video out. But we'll have some reaction afterwards as well. All right, here, just watch this, and it's disgusting. I can see him, but I can't hear anything. Little kids. There we go. Person with the fucking dog. Look at this woman looking for a child. We make fun of other countries when it's in our own backyard in Miami, where the Hurricanes and the Dolphins play. Absolutely pathetic. I couldn't hear any of that, Angel, but can I hear you? I don't know.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Say something. I can't.
Yeah. I'm speaking now. If not,
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. I couldn't hear any of the video.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The next one I'm going to play after this. Let's see. Can you scroll? It's the first one down. Trish Christakis. Here's this guy, Jose, who traveled from Texas, spent thousands on tickets and flights to get there. Legitimate fan of Colombia. It's the first one down on my Twitter page. Yes, that one right there. And it's so sad. Legitimate fans like this, and they can't even get in. Unbelievable.
But what is frustrating is that a lot of people like me, we were patient. We waited until the organizers got themselves together to let people inside the stadium while scanning tickets. But they didn't do that. And what happens is a lot of people rush the gates, they climb the walls, and they are the people who are inside the stadium right now. I'm sitting outside with tickets on my cell phone.
And you can't get in.
I cannot get in because they are not even scanning. They didn't even scan tickets for people to get in. So it's such a mess, and it's very, very disappointing. You know, like you expect better from an event organized in the U.S. But what is frustrating is.
All right, Angel, and another fan outside. If you could scroll down one or two after him, it's on Maximiliano Bretos' site. This is another guy who paid $2,000 for a ticket. Yeah, this guy right here paid $2,000 for a ticket, could not get in.
So for those who couldn't, the audio is coming low. It's got, again, nothing to do with us. It's the person who recorded which I'm assuming is the reporter behind the gate there. But the guy is saying he paid $2,000. The guy that's next to him saying the same thing, and probably the guy that's behind him obviously paid big amount of money to get in there. And as you heard from the fan beforehand, they couldn't get their ticket scanned either because everybody who had made their way obviously inside the stadium. And listen, the one thing I will say is there's certain things that drive you bananas. The same thing that what had happened to our former president over the weekend. But what people don't realize, this is what happens when you allow people to come into this country that have done this in their own homelands. And Pete's gone. He'll be back here in a second. When people become barbarians and they force their way into place, this is one of many events that stuff like this is going to end up happening. But what's going to happen is that people that come into this country that have used to doing this in their own country that we see in third world stuff becomes here in the U.S. This should have never happened. And I'm quite sure, Miami-Dade County wasn't expecting it. I'm pretty sure if there was any voluntary state police officers over there, weren't expecting it. But the people who legitimately paid for these tickets couldn't get in.
No, I don't know if I'm buying that, Angel. There were some match stuff sent out there, and then if we can get Dove Kleiman fans sticking into Hard Rock Stadium by crawling through the vents. This is one of the last fan videos. It's a short video. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see fans trying to climb through the vents, and then I'll give you the pre-statement. So if we can play that video, Angel, it's a short one. Again, this is people trying to get in through the vents, you fucking animals.
What is going on here? People are getting into the Copa America through the ventilation system? What is going on here? What the heck? What is going on?
Unbelievable. Then a statement from Hard Rock Stadium at tonight's Copa America final. In anticipation of tonight's Copa America final, thousands of fans without tickets attempted to forcibly enter the stadium, putting other fan security and law enforcement officers at extreme risk. Security has shut the gates in order to control the entry process at a much slower rate and ensure everyone is kept safe. As a result, tonight's match start time has been delayed until further notice to accommodate for ticketed fans to be able to safely enter the stadium. All fans without tickets must leave the Hard Rock Stadium premises. It is paramount to a successful and, more importantly, safe match. Well, a lot of people didn't. And then later on, the police went into the stands, or security went into the stands and tried to get out some people. I'm sure they didn't get out everybody. I don't know how you could after what went down here. But there was I was watching the news in the morning. There was supposed to be.
Hang on, folks.
No, look, you can't have every single cop in Miami be at Hard Rock Stadium. Otherwise, right. What else would happen? I understand that. I mean, what do you need here? The National Guard to come out? I'm wearing my I Am Groot shirt. You need the Avengers to come out and guard the stadium? I'm seriously serious about the National Guard. I mean, what what is it? What are you going to do? I mean, I don't know how we're not embarrassed beyond belief what has happened. I can't blame the security people at Hard Rock. How do you get you got thousands of people just coming at you that illegally that shouldn't be there at all. Can you imagine if that ever happened at a Super Bowl? But think about the Super Bowl we're in Miami, which has been at that stadium. Think about it. If fans did this at a Super Bowl or a Stanley Cup final or an NBA final or a NASCAR or Indy or anything, just thousands of fans trying to, push their way in. What the hell are we doing? What is going on with you people? It's just a goddamn soccer game. It's a freaking soccer game. Jesus. And I don't know what the aftermath was after Argentina ended up winning in the 112th minute with Lionel Messi getting hurt. I mean, there are a lot of storylines to this great game last night. But what are you people thinking? What kind of, again, I look up into the aliens, independent state people, those big spaceships, man, invade now because we got no chance. We got no chance. There's nothing short. I hate to chill on my mom. There's nothing short of barbaric behavior. That's all it is. A bunch of freaking animal barbaric behavior. And you got moms and you got little kids. We got a fucking dog. There's a dog. A woman illegally trying to get she gets in with her dog. Looked like a little chihuahua or whatever it was.
Yep.
What the hell are you people thinking?
We wait for Pete to come back.
Just absolutely sad. It is a sad, sad thing. And then I want you to hear this. And I was not happy with Alexi Lawless, Angel. One more video here for the time being from Fox Soccer. Alexi Lawless saying, look for the
All right. Hang on.
Gotcha. Thank you.
This is not a good look. I understand this is not a good look for CONMEBOL. Yeah. This is also because it is happening on our watch, correct, in our country, not a good look for the U.S. less than 2 years out of the World Cup. I have no doubt that FIFA and the United States and Canada and Mexico will sort this out and make sure that this doesn't happen going forward. But I think it also shows that don't let anybody tell you that America is not a soccer nation. Don't let anybody tell you that the United States does not have an incredible history, doesn't have fans out there. There are millions of soccer fans, and they are going to either come from other places here and join the millions that exist, or, like I said, the ones that are already here. I think this shows that there are many home teams when it comes to the U.S., but there is a fervor and there is a passion for this game and for these tournaments that is going to be on display for the next 2 years and is going to culminate in what I think is going to be the most important and biggest summer of soccer when it comes to the summer of 2026.
Smiles. It's all sherry and giggles, right, Alexis? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is one of the lamest things I've ever heard in my life for a broadcaster. And I respect him as a soccer player. He played for the Revolution. He does a lot of good analysis. That is a fucking joke, what he just said right there. He's basically giving all the barbarians a pass. See, they're all just big soccer fans. Really, Alexi? Then how come all these MLS stadiums aren't sold out? It's just for United States teams. And I'm not talking about the men's national team. I'm talking about the league itself. What a lame-ass excuse that was by Alexi Lawless. Basically smiles, all, giggling. Oh, yeah, it's just they're just passionate soccer fans. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? I swear to God. It's amazing. And no one there, like a lot of times on ESPN, Angel, no one there to challenge that statement. I would have gone up to him, smacked him in the head, and go, what are you talking about? Passionate fans is one thing. Storming a stadium illegally when you don't have tickets, go sit at a bar and watch it. It's just, I knew it was going to happen, Angel. I told you. I told my wife. I said, you watch. I said, before, during, and after, maybe all three, there is going to be something that goes down in this place tonight and today. I mean, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for the country. I mean, other people looking at this. We make fun of other countries all the time when stuff like this happens in football or soccer. We do it all the time. If you see some tragic events, we've seen people get shot after games, players and fans alike. We've seen riots. Just the other day, Uruguay and Colombia went at it in the stands. You know, it's barbaric. It's disgusting, and it shouldn't happen anywhere, but particularly on our soil, it should not happen. And I don't know how much this is going to cost taxpayers in the end, because now, Angel, you're going to have, anytime there's going to be an event like this, you're going to have like the National Guard out there or something like that. You can't have every police officer, unless they come from out of town. You can't have every single state trooper and every single Miami-Dade County police officer be around Hard Rock Stadium for a match like this. I mean, otherwise, there's nobody else to cover the rest of the county, the rest of South Florida. So I don't know what the solution is going to be here. All I know is security was just over the top. They didn't have enough of it, not even remotely close. And I think what happened was absolutely disgusting. I picked Argentina to win. They're going to go by Martinez in the 112th minute. It's just, I listened to Alexi Lawless, and I'm like, that's part of the problem right there. And I don't know if he's trying to kiss ass because he's on Fox and they're the coverage of this event, but to just downplay it, and that's what he did, downplayed it and made it like, oh, it's just passionate soccer fans being passionate soccer fans, even though they caused a riot and hurt a bunch of women and children and people with families. Meanwhile, women with freaking little dogs on a leash are getting in. I mean, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah,
what is going on here?
My big takeaway and what's a shame about that one is that you have the one girl you saw in the very beginning, the first video that we showed, that she, like, you can physically see her kind of getting crushed in between, and she's already, having anxiety from what it looks like. And then when they finally push through and the gate falls, like, she gets trampled on, and the one cop that's there is trying to do the right thing, not trying to stop people. He's trying to get everybody from getting this poor girl up. But then you see another mother crying for her child, because I'm pretty sure in the melee, the child was probably somewhere in the stadium, but unfortunately she lost control because of everybody just, pushing in and pulling in. And it just doesn't make any sense to me why people have to act barbaric. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it's such a bad look altogether, because what happens? Because, I mean, since they had no control, who's to say anybody had any kind of weapons on them? No one would know, because everybody just, once they flooded the gates, that was it. So thankfully there was no stabbings or anything else that happened inside the venue. But the one thing is going to be 2 years from now, when we are hosting these bigger events, it's going to be something else. So we're going to wait and see what's going to happen from this fallout. But I mean, there's also not a lot of people covering either this morning.
There's been multiple games at that stadium. It's had multiple names too, obviously, over the years. Thousands of events, the last 35 years. Nothing like this has ever happened. Nothing. The 72 club entrance, which you and I both know well, at Hard Rock Stadium, absolutely destroyed elevators and stuff. And the guy tweeted out, copy my book, barbaric and unacceptable. I mean, I am beyond disgusted when I see. I just cannot believe it. What's happened? Actually, I can believe it, because I thought it was going to be bad down there at some point or points. Like I said, start, middle, ending of the game, or outside the stadium, no matter who won. I thought there was going to be bloodshed or violence. I did not expect thousands and thousands of people to try to rush the ticket gate to get in before the match even started. And Alexi Lawless goes on national TV and downplays it. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. And then you look at what happened over the weekend, and this other dirtbag, Thomas Matthew Crooks, whose mommy didn't tuck him in enough at night. One of those drifters again. Got to hear all the same fucking excuses over and over again. It doesn't matter. Violence like this, no matter who you're rooting for, or it's not going to solve a damn thing. one way or the other. It doesn't matter who your candidate is or whatever. Violence does not solve anything. And I am so sick and tired of people like Thomas Matthew Crooks, and people are going to make excuses for him. I didn't have enough friends. I was a loner. I was this. I'm this. I'm that. I'm that.
Give it a second, folks. People will be right back. Pete, we'll be back. Give him a second. He is.
So was a former firefighter as well. A former firefighter, unfortunately, died in this event unnecessarily. But, justice was served. And I feel badly for his parents. Because they seem to think that this was, I don't know, out of the ordinary. But I'm just, I'm so tired of the excuses of the lack of or whatever. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't have enough friends. I got to do this. I got to do that. I've been picked on. Everybody's been picked on at some point. Everybody. Not everybody goes off like this and becomes a loner. I mean, I don't know. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of it. Everybody gets left off the hook. Everybody's mentally fucking challenged now. It's unbelievable. Nobody has any balls. Nobody has to say, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight. I don't care if this girl doesn't like me, that one doesn't like me. I'm not going to get a gun and start shooting people. It's just ridiculous. Need mental help. Christ, everybody needs mental help. We're all just going through tough times in their life. You don't give up. You don't just say, I'm going to take it out on somebody else because my life sucks because my mommy didn't tuck me in enough at night and give me a kiss and give me Twinkies and Cheerios. I've had it with this attitude in this country that we have to feel badly for everybody like this. Tell them give them a kick in the ass and tell them to grow up. God almighty. If every kid on the planet growing up in the last 100 years went off because somebody didn't want to be their friend, or some girl spurned them, or kids are throwing erasers at me and stuff. Are you kidding me? Welcome to the real world, man. And I'm not saying it's justified. Growing up, I didn't pick on anybody. That wasn't my thing. I had no desire to pick on anybody. I just wanted to make sure that anybody who played on my team was show up on time. I was the first one there and last one to leave. And I didn't expect that. But that's what I was. If some kid on any of my teams wasn't real good, or you could tell was struggling, I would stay. I'd work with them, try to work them, give them some tips, not make fun of them or anything like that. But the excuses that we have come up with in this country for everybody's mentally damaged. Everybody's mentally damaged, and it's such a crutch for everybody to lean on in this country right now when things don't go well for little Harry and little Sally. And all of a sudden, and sometimes, yes, it is the parents' fault. And I'm not talking about abusive parents who are physically abusive or whatever. But there's a lot of tough kids out there that have beaten the raps more than this little dirtbag, Thomas Matthew Crooks. Okay? There's a lot of kids that have grown up in one-parent families, especially moms, one mother, single moms, single dads, and a lot tougher neighborhoods than Bethel, Pennsylvania, I can tell you that. And they survived and moved on to do great things. So I have had it with this. We have to be well aware of the mental issues of young people out there, because it's always a crutch. If something goes awry, it's always a crutch. We can't just say, show some balls, get up off your ass, fight. Mentally, fight, not physically, fight. Or if you have to defend yourself, you don't go off half-cocked with a gun and start shooting people, no matter what the situation is. That doesn't solve anything. And this kid lost his life, 20 years old, dead. For what? Because he didn't have a couple friends that he was alone. That's alone and everything. I can't wait till this fucking Netflix special comes out, because there will be one sooner rather than later. And I'm just so disgusted with the people in this country who just want to give free passes sometimes. You watch the sympathizers for this kid. You watch, because you're going to hear the stories. I didn't have any friends, or I have very little friends. My sister tied me to a tree and threw a dodgeball. I mean, it's all sorts of excuses are going to come out of this. Just so sad that a civilian passed away because of it. Another one. And Donald Trump was very lucky, because another millimeter to the right, and that would have been it, more than likely. But it's just these kind of attitudes don't they just violence is not going to solve anything. It's just not. It's not going to solve anything. I don't know. That's I'm off my soapbox rant, but my overall point is I am sick and tired because you know what happens? The people that actually do really need mental help, and there are a lot of people out there, and I sympathize. I really do. But there's too many people in this country that will have sympathy for this little shit for shooting somebody, for shooting Donald Trump. Or maybe he was just trying to make a name for himself. Maybe he's just trying to, it didn't matter who was up there. Maybe it was just no matter what political party you think he was. Yeah, he was a registered Republican. Then he was supposed to be, he gave money to some crazy Democratic wacko party. I don't know, whatever it is. They all suck to me. You know how I feel about politics. I hate them all of them, for the most part. But maybe he's just trying to make a name for himself, no matter who was up there. If Biden was up there, maybe he would have done the same thing. I don't know. If anybody, any type of big time political figure was up there, maybe he thought he was in the right place, right time, and I'm gonna go out. And remember, Sirhan, when he assassinated Robert F. Kennedy, he had said back then, anybody can kill the president as long as he wrote this. Anybody can kill the president as long as they are willing to sacrifice their own life. Yeah, he's right. You can have all the Secret Service people you want. If you're willing to sacrifice your life, you can kill anybody. When Gotti whacked Castellano, that was as big as killing the president back in the day in 1985. Don't think it wasn't. Carefully planned. But this is a kid. I don't know how. I saw a story today that a police officer was coming up the ladder or something, saw him, and he pointed the gun at him, and the guy backed down. You're not going to know what to believe or what not to believe here. But all I can say is, doing violence like that is not going to. You're not solving anything. You're not solving anything. So I don't know. I'm wiped out already. Angel. 727-858-6650. If you have comments on any of that, that's fine. If you want to call me an asshole for being insensitive to mentally, it's not that I'm not.
No, you're not
insensitive to mental health. I am insensitive to parents and people in this country who want to use a crutch for mental health all the time when it's not necessary. Everybody who has an issue, I got to take a mental health day from work. I can't drive my car down the street anymore. The sun didn't come up the right way. I mean, we are a nation of beyond excuses, beyond. And I'm not talking about our show not being on Twitter today either. I'm talking about, seriously, it's just one thing, whatever. If something goes wrong, a little Sally and little Joey's day, it's a mental health day. It's just the tests are too much. I had 4 fucking hours of homework every single night from 9th grade through 12th grade at my high school. 4 hours every single night. I had vocabulary tests every single day from sophomore, junior, and senior year. Every day. I mean, some of you people don't know what studying is. You got it easy. We didn't have the internet or any of that shit back then. We actually had to go to the library and do 20-page term papers with encyclopedias and books. And I'm not talking about, back in my day. I mean, these kids today that are in high school, they have no idea how easy they have it. Because a lot of I would have got straight A+ if I had the technology that we had today. You actually had to go to research, go to libraries and look up stuff and pray to God that somebody else wasn't doing the same topic as you. All right, now I'm really off my soapbox.
No, but so to piggyback on what you're saying, because there's points you're making and you are correct. And it's not, I don't want anybody to think that Pete or myself are talking about people with actual.
Angel, here's the thing: is I don't give a shit what people think about me. I don't care. They can say I'm insensitive all they want. There's a lot of other people way more insensitive than me when it comes to this stuff. I'm just tired of people using mental health as a crutch all the time when it's not necessary.
No, right, and that's where I was getting to. The whole thing is that there's people who it's same way. There's some of us who came out of the military. I'll say some, but there's a lot that came out of the military that has PTSD. Now it's just when you're going to war and stuff. But for a lot of these folks today that will call their job and saying they're taking a mental health day, and the companies, just like the schools and everyone's, continue to do so. Listen, before it was, you called in, even if you weren't sick, you were like, hey, I just don't want to go to work, so I'm just going to call in, or I'm going to call out, depending on where you live. In Philly, we say you would call out. You're not going to work. So days like that, I understand. Everybody needs it. Every once in a while, you just like, what, today I'm not feeling it. You take off. But the thing where people start using it more and more as a crutch, then those people who actually need help won't get it, because you'll have people who are just going to say that. I think it was not too long ago, either I was reading or something that may have came across the news, where I think the schools are allowing you 5 mental health days. And I forgot what company is giving you 3 mental health days per year amongst all the other stuff that you end up happening. So there is a lot where people turn around and make excuses for whatever they want. You have to learn, as part of life, as part of society. When we were growing up, we had tough love. We had things where everything wasn't all singing kumbaya. You worked hard for what you wanted. If you had a bad day, good thing is tomorrow's another day, right? You reset. You go to bed that night. Thank God. You know what? Today wasn't my day. You wake up the next day. You start all over again. It's no different than me. There's nighttime. I'm thankful. I'm grateful with my wife, my family, my friends, and everybody in between. And if today wasn't a good, successful day for whatever it was that I was trying to accomplish, there's always tomorrow. And God will give me, hopefully, the next day to go ahead and take care of it. But we also get into stretches too. Lord knows I've been through my life where I had a year of the greatest suckest fear in the world. But thankfully, that passed, and the blue skies came back out in the sunshine, and everything was good. But to constantly use a crutch to say that this is the reason why, learn how to control your being, learn how to control your own health. And if you see stuff because a lot of people watch a lot of negative stuff, stop watching it, figure out what to do, go take a walk, go to the beach, do something, but get yourself right again, because to constantly use something as a crutch, it's bad. It's no different than your drug addicts and your alcoholics. If you know you have a problem, you hope to reach it out. But a drug addict and alcoholic will never say they have a problem because everybody else sees it. So I understand exactly where you're going to and what you're talking about, Pete, but it's being used too much today as a crutch, way too much.
Yeah, no, and obviously I'm not talking about people in the military or anybody who's risked their lives, a police officer, fireman. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the helicopter parents out there with little Joey and little Sally. If the least little thing goes wrong, it's either the teacher's fault, and the poor teachers have to sit there and take the abuse mentally and sometimes even physically, what we've seen lately from parents. And you know, if the slightest little thing goes wrong, whether it's in school or sports, it's the coach's fault. Why isn't my little kid playing? Because your little kid stinks, and you will play the minimum. So the other kids what are you supposed to do? Play some kids who suck at their sport in baseball? I mean, I'm talking about the list is endless. It's so ridiculous. The teachers and coaches on the whole are all good people for the most part. And they have to deal with these helicopter parents, as Nat comes flying in. They have to deal with these helicopter parents. Well, if little Joey and little Sally aren't getting their playing time, then it's the coach's fault. It's the teacher. It's everybody else's fault. Well, some kids just aren't that good at sports. Just be happy he's out there running around. Anyway, all right, quick break, Angel, if we can. 727-858-6650 coming up in a few minutes when we come back. It's the Red Sox Report, sponsored by Moynihan Lumber. That's coming up. And then at 9:05 a.m., Steve Buckley from The Athletic. We'll talk some Red Sox and baseball. And, he's the second best after me as far as Godfather trivia and imitations, but he'll tell you he's first, but he's not. And then Kevin Winter from ESPN Radio will join us at 9:30 a.m. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Monday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, IonTP.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
All right, good morning, everybody. Back here on the Pete Sheppard Show. It is July 15th, you believe. We're just about halfway through the month of July already. I just spent the first barely 40 minutes talking about what happened in Miami last night. I'm off my soapbox and just hope things get better. I just want everybody to picture if something like that happened, now that Copa America, what if the Super Bowl were there and that happened? It wouldn't have been. How would Super Bowl? I'm trying to think how Super Bowl security would have handled that, because there's been plenty of events at that stadium. We've seen FS1 down there, Formula One, down there. We've seen a lot of big events in that area, and nothing like this has ever happened. We're with throngs of people are just storming in, women and children getting trampled, dogs being dogs in a dog. You saw that one video. Who even if you were that much of a loony and we're going to be part of this mob mentality of storming the gate, Angel, who brings a dog? That woman clearly didn't have a ticket. She brought her dog. She brought her dog.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense to me either, because there's nights, you see like Major League Baseball, they have, bring your dog night. That's.
Oh, yeah, we're not having it for this.
Yeah, but not for a major event like this. They're not asking you to bring your animals. They're not. And it's sightseeing dog, that's different, those kind of things, but not the lady with her little dog that she carries in one arm.
I don't know, it was a Chihuahua pug, whatever it was. I couldn't really tell. Oh, it looked like a Chihuahua.
Yeah,
but I'm like, are you kidding me? Who brings a dog to this match anyway? And obviously she was. I mean, they wouldn't have let her in with a dog. They're not going to let her in at Hard Rock with a dog. Oh my God, I don't know. Angel, if we go to Total Sports Prep, if you don't mind, and go scroll down to baseball for the Red Sox, Royals 5-4. I want to get into that because at 8:15 always we do world famous Red Sox report. Of course, brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and also in Plastow, New Hampshire. So the Red Sox and Royals finished up a 3-game series at Fenway yesterday. I've said it many times. One of the most amazing numbers of the Red Sox. They're 20-8 now since June 12th, since their win yesterday. We'll get to the highlights in a second. And their record on Sundays, I believe, is 15-1. How about that?
That's a good
15-1. All right. So if we have any, let's start with the Royals getting on top of Bayo in the first inning. Adam Frazier starts it off good for the Royals. Cut number 4.
Cut number 4.
Belted to right field, and Adam Frazier has a leadoff home run. Number 3 as a Royal.
Sink the sinker.
All right. Meanwhile, in the bottom of the first inning, Rafael Devers hit an absolute bomb to right field.
Swinging a drive, right field. He smashed this one deep into the corner and gone. Number 23. He is some kind of hot heading into the All-Star break.
So Rafael Devers
9 feet with that shot.
Not only was it 439 feet, it also busted a chair out in right field. Nearly took a young lady's head off, so much so that I was watching the game on Nesson yesterday from here in Fort Myers. Tom Caron, who's usually in the studio up there, was down on the field for the first time in a while and interviewed the young lady. First of all, the seat was destroyed, and they replaced it by the time he got down there. And the young lady almost got God only knows what would have happened if that ball hit her in the head, because that ball was crushed. That put the Red Sox up 2-1, thanks to Nesson with the call, and earlier Bally Sports Kansas City with the call of Frazier's home run. Now, if we could, Angel, let's go to cut number 2, bottom of the 7th. Dominic Smith gets in on the action.
And Smith bring him in to 2-2. And a liner in the right center field down for a base hit. Devers will score. That is a giant run on a day like today.
Okay, thanks to Nesson for that. Before that, in the cut number 1, Angel, before that, Dominic Smith also got in on the home run action for the Red Sox.
Talk about his streaky, exceptionally streaky. Fly ball here by Smith. That's a deep drive by Dom. Way back. And kiss it goodbye. But the Red Sox launching right away against KC. Dom Smith with number 5. A 2-run shot. getting it airborne and out at Fenway on a Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. The Red Sox were teeing off on Brady Singer, whose now record is 5-6. Again, Rafael Devers blasted that first inning one off Brady Singer. Estimated velocity 114.7 miles per hour, 439 feet. Crashed into the top of the seat, losing the top support. The Red Sox posted a Fenway Facilities incident report that had a picture of the broken red seat on their social media sites. So, yeah, absolutely locked in. Adam Frazier, as we talked about, opened the game with a homer into the Royals bullpen, and All-Star Salvador Perez, who was selected for his 9th Midsummer Classic. He added a solo shot into the Green Monster seats for Kansas City. First-time All-Star Jarren Duran had 4 hits for the Red Sox, all infield hits or all ground ball single doubles. They improved to a major league best 15-1 on Sundays. I thought Jarren Duran had one of the best hits of the year for the Red Sox. His first one of the day. It was a decently hard hit ball on the shift in between second and shortstop, right to the right of the bag of second base. And he turned on the afterburners immediately, like he was thinking double all the way. And who was in center field? Isbell charges it. By the time he charged and threw it to second, Duran was already there. And even if the throw was on and the shortstop dropped the ball, but Duran was already there for a double. It's one of my favorite plays of the year for the Red Sox. It's hustle, hustle, hustle. So, meanwhile, Brian Bayo, 10-5, overcame his struggles at home. He went 6 1/3, allowed 3 runs and seven hits. And Kenley Jansen got the final 6 outs. He struck out 3 for his 19th save, 439th of his career. Gave up a run in the 9th, but got Nick Lofton to ground out with a runner on second to end it. His first career 2-inning save in a regular season. And that was just about when my internet went out yesterday. It was right around that time. I missed the last out. It was right around that 4:30 mark, whatever. So next up, the Red Sox opened up a 6-game road trip after the All-Star break with the first of 3 at the Dodgers on Friday. The Dodgers, some teams are very welcoming to get to the All-Star break. Some teams like the Red Sox, you want to keep going. The Dodgers have been in disarray now. They have had a very hard time with teams like the Detroit Tigers and others. They've had a bad record here in their last 10, 15 games. Meanwhile, the Red Sox, meanwhile, the Red Sox and the Dodgers did lose again yesterday, 4-3. The Red Sox have been outstanding, 20-8 since June 12th. One of the best records in baseball, the best record in baseball. We'll do more rundown when we come back, Angel. Not a great day for your Phillies yesterday, or actually looked like an old Raiders Eagles score as the Raiders won 18-3.
Yeah.
But you were up 1-0 in that game in the 4th inning. It's just one of those days. Lawrence Butler hit 3 home runs. He's had 15 hits. 8 of them were home runs in that 18-3 win. That happens. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 1-0, 2-0, 18-3. An L is an L. That's all. But what's amazing about the A's, because they've scored 18 runs, I think, 3 times this year. Despite their record and everything else, they've had some breakout games as well. But we won't bother you with those highlights. Not at all. 18-3, the Phillies win. Elsewhere around the league yesterday, you had the MLB draft too. But the Cubs over the Cardinals by a score of 8-3. The Pirates beat the White Sox 9-4. Rockies over the Mets by a score of 8-5. As we said, Tigers over the Dodgers 4-3. A's over the Phillies 18-3. Rays blanked the Guardians 2-0. And one of my favorite plays, Angel, if we could go back to the video, which I have. What a game! As I said, I watched the whole game yesterday between the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. Nothing pleases me more for the Yankees to go down the way they did yesterday. If you can scroll down, Angel, I'll have the video in case you missed it. I have the audio too, but the audio doesn't really do it justice. You have to see the video. And it is, yes, that's actually Jerry Thornton who tweeted it out from Jumboy Media. And it has both plays the Yankees messed up on at the end. that allowed the Baltimore Orioles to finish. Here it is, in case you missed it.
Mountcastle bounces it to Volpe, who has a trouble finding the handle, gets it to second too late. A run scores, everybody's safe, and it's a one-run game in the ninth. Room for Clay Holmes. Mullins to left. Verdugo started in, and the Orioles are going to win it. Oh, my! Welcome to Club Sid.
A crazy scene yesterday. Volpe and then Verdugo, who started in. I mean, just unbelievable the way that happened. Two of the better defensive players on the Yankees, and Cedric Mullins hit that 2-run double in the ninth. They would have scored all three. If they were, I mean, they could have been. That would have been. Could have been an inside the park home run, or at the very least would have been a triple. There's no question. All three runs would have scored after Verdugo. It took the wrong path to the ball and then fell down. So Anthony Volpe's error kept the Orioles' two-out rally going. Then Mullins hits that liner. Appeared routine, but Alex Verdugo started in at first and could not recover. By the time he turned around, he had fallen down. That was that. And earlier, Ben Rice, the kid from Cohasset, did it again. Ben Rice hit a 3-run homer in the top of the ninth off Craig Kimbrell to put the Yankees up 5-3. But the Yankees closer couldn't hold a lead either. Clay Holmes allowed the Orioles to load the bases with 2 outs. And then Ryan Mountcastle's grounder ended it. The Volpe should have ended it. He made the error, made it 5-4, kept the bases loaded. And the rest is history. All right, Angel. We got some other news to tell you about, some other stuff going on. I watched Wimbledon yesterday. I hadn't watched a Wimbledon match start to finish in a long, long time. But that kid, Carlos Alcaraz from Spain, was outstanding. He owned, for the most part of the day, owned Novak Djokovic. We'll get some sound from them. Both were very courteous to each other afterwards and as well. What else happened? Training camps are about to open for some teams. Jacoby Jones passed away from the Baltimore Ravens. That was something. We got some sound from that as well. 40 years old. Man, oh, man. He made some great plays in his day. And we'll have some more soccer sound as well from the winners and losers. Argentina over Colombia to win Copa America. And in the Euro final, Spain over England 2-1. And I know my friend Ian is probably listening out there from Liverpool and others that listen to this program. We have a lot of soccer fans that listen to this program. England, Angel, is like the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Pete will be back.
Maple Leafs, they're going to lose. New England was probably going to lose this match, and they did. All right, thanks everybody for checking us out on the video platform. Again, I retweeted Angel's links today, having issues, not with us, not on our end, about viewing the show on Twitter X, but you can view it my Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube. We're powered by Ion TV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, Sports Radio 102.9, as always, and 727-858-6650. When we come back, Angel, we'll give everybody an update on everything that's going on here on the Coastal Sports Network. There's so many good things happening, and it's amazing. So we'll have your update on that as well. All part, and then coming up again, 9 o'clock from 9:05, Steve Buckley from The Athletic will join us. And at 9:30 a.m., Kevin Winter from ESPN Radio joins the program as well. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on this Monday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Welcome back. It is the Pete Sheppard Show. Here it's July 18th. It is a Monday here in beautiful Southwest Florida. Sunny day. It is very hot, quite hot out there. It's warm to say up in there when it's warm. I won't even say it's a scorcher, as they say in Massachusetts, in parts of New England, Angel. There's a scorcher, and then, you can't go outside because it's very hard to breathe, to be honest. And it was one of those days yesterday, too. Yeah, like I wanted to go out. I was going to go by the pool. I was going to, and it's just like every time I started to maybe head to the pool, it looked like it was going to downpour or thunderstorms to fly. It was kind of like that kind of a wishy-washy day. You just didn't know what to do. So that's why I watched Wimbledon. I watched the Yankees in Baltimore. I watched the Red Sox. And then my internet went out. And then I had to watch stuff over my phone until my gracious neighbors let us piggyback on their site. But anyway, how was your day? I mean, you worked your tail off all weekend. Every time I texted you, you were doing this and doing that, updating this, updating that. So I want you to brag about yourself, and rightly so, for what you have done over the last couple of days and what we can expect on the Coastal Sports Network, as it is just like I'm just amazed at what you're able to accomplish. 99.9% of it by yourself. I'll give Dynamic Debbie 1% for your support, but you're doing all the physical stuff. But she's giving you a lot of mental support.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work to get stuff done. That's why when Pete asked me on Friday, what am I doing? I'm working. It's stuff never stops because you have to constantly do updates. There's constant stuff that's going on. But the one thing that over the weekend, which I did to also benefit folks, you guys know that Broad Street South was originally how everything had started. There's been a pivot to go to Coastal Sports Network. Still all under the Sports Radio 102.9 FM, the game umbrella, but on the website. And what I've done to make it easier for you guys and girls is to recreate a brand new app that you guys download. So if you're the old one, you probably can't even bring it up anymore. If you guys are wondering how come you can't hear it, because you have to physically go to sr1029thegame.com and download that brand new app that's there, along with which soon I'll have the link up there as well, both on the app and on the website, is where you guys can listen into the replays of the show over on iHeart, Spotify, Panda, Stitcher, Deezer, Listen Notes, everywhere, Amazon Music, Samsung, everywhere and anywhere you listen to your audio platforms as to how you're able to get these shows. So if you're traveling somewhere and you want to hear the show, there's multiple ways to be able to hear it. And now, of course, on iHeartRadio, it's listed up there as the Coastal Sports Network. You can bring it up. I think it's like the second thing that actually pops up when you look it up on iHeartRadio. So lots of ways to listen into the show, lots of ways to watch the replay of the shows. And I try to make it convenient for everyone. It's a lot of work. Like I said, the only reason why I asked you guys to download the new app is because everything that I do here, of course, is like a production value. So it costs me money coming out of pocket. But for you guys to subscribe to it, it doesn't cost you a thing. There's not even a donation jar that's up there. It's just up there so you guys can enjoy everything, so you won't miss a thing. Just like today, for example, this was out of our complete control where it wasn't going out to Twitter. But if you guys were down,
I got Angel, if I may, I just got a message from Evie Mux. So I didn't know this. They said, if you tried X specifically, here is the reason. And X Live said, starting today, creating live video from an encoder with X integration will require premium to continue going live. So, I mean, I thought I have the blue check mark. I paid, $6 a month for it because and the only reason I do it, I didn't do it for a while. The only reason why I do it is because it expands our brand. If you have a blue check mark, it's better for us and shows like this. But it requires going live, which I think is that's $11 a month, I think, for that. So whatever it is, I'll upgrade it. Whatever it is. So starting today, Twitter X creating live video from an encoder with X integration will require premium to continue going live. I wish they had told us this like last week. It would have been nice to get some kind of a heads up.
Well, the good thing is it's actually on mine. I've had that from when Twitter started doing an X for the most part. But when he was Elon was talking about there were certain things he was going to end up changing, and I know a lot of folks had. It's funny because the same people said I'm going to leave X are the same ones that are still around. But no, it's I have it, so I may have to redo the way I normally end up doing it. For CSN Florida, that means there's got to be a thing I have to do there as well before that can happen. All right, so it's good. Like I said, I have it as part of my subscription to X. So all right, that would explain a whole lot this morning.
Okay, but I see. You know what? Right now, my blue check mark was taken away. You know why? Because every time you update anything, so I put a new profile picture on my Twitter account, it takes away your blue check mark for a couple of days. So I think I should, once that comes back, right? I think I should be all set. So I don't think I need to upgrade any more than the blue check mark, or maybe I do to get the yellow check mark. You know what I'm going to have to do?
No. So the different no, that's much more expensive. Those are for companies and stuff. No, the one that you have, you should have the premium one, which is like, so you have basic, premium plus. With premium, it should cover it, which I'm pretty sure that's the one that you have.
It disappears for a couple of days because I changed my new logo that you made for me, and I put it up there. Anything you do to Twitter, anything you do on your own profile, you have to verify everything, and it takes like sometimes 2 or 3 days, which they do tell you about, and then it comes back. So hopefully by tomorrow, I'll be able to get it back because that kind of stinks.
Now, and here's what's going to be even the bigger, nuttier part. Imagine the amount. I'm pretty sure someone's going to make a comment or something about it later on. But imagine a lot of these folks who originally didn't want this stuff, and now they use it because there's a lot of folks. Listen, not for nothing. There's a lot of people. Twitter, Elon, great dude. But I will say this much: Twitter's always been my go-to. X, whatever you guys want. I always call it Twitter. I just love Twitter. But it's always been my go-to because that's the biggest platform I've ever used, and I really enjoy. Although something like this, I probably missed that update, so shame on me for not catching it. But imagine the amount of onslaught of people they're going to now add to it, which is, he did say, because the problem is Elon is trying to, two things. One is he wants to continue to free speech, as everybody should. The other thing is he is trying to eliminate the bots because it is out of control on every social media, not just Twitter. On every single social media, the bots are out of control.
Angel, how many friend requests do you get a week from people all over the world? A lot of them with trashy looking women. And it's like, I saw your profile and you look like someone I want to be with or meet and be part. Can we be friends? No, delete. They're all bot accounts. They're all dummy accounts. They're all connected to some ads that you don't want to see in some way or shape or form. So.
Yep, it is. There's a lot of them on Facebook. You get a ton. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, okay, finish, and then something funny I wanted to tell you about today.
On Twitter, it's the same way too. There's a ton of them on my Twitter handle that'll be like either 0 posts or they're following like 1,000, 5,000 people, and no one's following them.
Dummy accounts.
Yeah,
they're just dummy accounts, and it's crazy. But there are people today, Angel, and school is out, so I'm not talking about kids who are in school, but maybe they're taking the day off for work. But a lot of adults are taking the day off today. Do you know why?
Today, hold on, let me think. Today is July 15th.
It's not any kind of a holiday that you'll see marked down. It has nothing to do with anybody's religion, creed, or race, or anything like that.
Okay. Then I'm at a loss.
Today is being declared Happy College Football 25 Day. This is the day that EA College Football 25 comes out. There are people that have been camping out at wherever outlets now sell video games since last night. There are people taking the day out of work today because they're going to play 9-10 hours and try to get Ball State into the postseason, that kind of thing. I've seen the trailers. The game looks absolutely unbelievable. And it's everybody welcoming it back. College Football 25 is back today. I like the game better than Madden. Madden's excellent. There's no question about it. But I like the college football game better. There's just, with the stadiums and the bands and the fight songs and everything that goes with it. And now you have the names on the back of these kids, the real numbers and real names in the back of these kids' jerseys. They're getting paid for it. That's funny. I guarantee you, Angel, there isn't, if they're not at practice today or when they are, when they're done, every single D1 kid who was at practice today and is on first of all, you got the console and you got the game, I believe, as part of your minimum $660 paycheck from EA Sports for doing this. They're all home. Can you imagine playing yourself on a video game without creating yourself,
Yeah.
So if you're Cam Ward from Miami and you're a quarterback, just getting that and going home. I play myself all the time. I'd be playing. I'd be playing all day. I'd be playing that game all day. It is. I can't tell you how much fun it is. And I would start off. I always played the Miami Hurricanes, whatever. the first couple of seasons and playing the exact schedule. I don't mess around with anything, and then actually play the game. And then I would actually have the computer simulate games and look back and see what scores would be. But the best part of that game, I think, is when you can create a player and get him through 4 years of college, and you can actually transfer it over to Madden in the NFL and put him in the draft if you want. That's too much for me at 57. That's too much for me. But even when I had the game, 20 years ago, and I had Xbox way back when it first came out, but I used to love taking teams like Ball State or an Akron or Vanderbilt, if in the SEC, some lower level team, but mostly a non-mid-major school. And at the first season, you play their schedule, the regular schedule that's out there for this season, and see what happens. And then you can, you obviously have to play your in your division. You can't get past your divisional rivals, but then you have a chance to schedule other teams. And that's where it becomes fun and stuff like that. As you take a team like Akron and try to get to the college football playoff, that to me is fun. I mean, anybody could take Ohio State to the playoffs or Michigan, Georgia, Alabama. There's no fun in that unless you're a Ball State and you're playing somebody that's playing Alabama and you beat them. But I think it's hysterical. So that comes out today. College Football 25, EA Sports. The long-awaited wait is over. And I know people that were camping out last night like it was Black Friday, Angel, ready for this game to get it. So we'll see. I don't have much time for video games anymore, but man, if somebody has it around here, I'll gladly come over and play. Definitely. It's a lot of fun. Did you have it back in the day?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? I would, first of all, I'm a not as much anymore because how busy I am, but all those games, EA games, I was a major fanatic. I told you guys. I mean, for those who don't know, I'm a nerd. I've been a nerd all my life. That's the way I've always been. And I have no problem admitting that. But the
so am I.
Yeah, but it was fun though. And listen, on Madden, I've created myself as a quarterback. I think the one time I created myself as a wide receiver, and I think I was 2.5, but we all can do it. But I forgot, you're right, because even Mia had mentioned it. I think you guys had talked about it on Friday's broadcast, if I remember correctly. So I forgot all about that.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, and I never did the headset thing back in the day. I never did the headset thing, but when the bar came out, the newer version of Xbox, which I got, not Xbox One, but the other one, didn't matter. So a little sound bar comes out, Angel. You saw that. Looks like it's about this big.
Yeah.
And where am I? About this big, and it's just a square. Because this is not a good example, but it's just a bar. Actually, it's not much thicker than that, maybe a little longer. And it had a camera. It had a camera attached to it there, which you had the ability to turn on or off or whatever. So what I used to do, I think I told you the story. I wouldn't turn the camera on. I would actually turn, because kids can hack into the camera. There are ways, these kids are unbelievable. They can hack into the game. So what I would do is I would turn my bar around so the camera would face black, just in case anybody hacked in. My microphone, because there was a microphone attached to it, muted, but it was still like a sound bar, like you have on your TV. So I could hear my opponents when I wanted to play online, but they could not hear me. And I told you twice I witnessed or heard, as I was playing Madden, 2 drug deals go down and one couple having sex. You could tell she was facing him and he was playing Honey Move. Honey Move. I can't, and we're playing and they're getting it on. And I am just dying. Now my mic's muted, so I'm laughing my head off. I'm messing up my team because I can't stop laughing. But that's the true thing. People would have sex, and I witnessed 2 drug deals right when it happened. One was cocaine and one was pot. I'll never forget. I was like, are you kidding me? This is unbelievable. I thought this was just people would make this stuff up. Nope. I was like, oh my God.
And that was from GTA, from Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, that was another one. That was hysterical.
Yep.
The game was tough, but you would just drive around and just explore stuff. Like I said, and then you go to, certain people you could kill, certain people you can't,
Right.
because we're mature adults, so we didn't take it personally. Like you could go out and start doing this. It was a game. It was like playing tanks on Atari. You shot people. You did that, but you go after, and there would be prostitutes and everything else in Grand Theft Auto, and you'd shoot them, and they go, but you can't kill them. And she'd go, "Why are you trying to hurt me?"
Yeah,
you just walk away. And the little message come up there. You can't do this, you can't do that, whatever. But you would literally walk in. You would literally walk in on drug deals and people having sex on beds in Grand Theft Auto, trying to get the criminal. It was hysterical.
Yeah, no, it was. Listen, I don't care who says what. Everybody who owned Grand Theft Auto, there was times where you just drive around and you jump out the car, the motorcycle, whatever. You mean you can steal a bus, you can steal everything. Then you just jump out and just randomly punch somebody. And then if you really want to be crazy, then if it was like a group of folks on the sidewalks, because if you hit one person, whoever's like nearby would come in.
Yeah.
This is where people didn't take life so serious. Where it was just,
how about what's fun in that game? Carjacking. You go in and carjack somebody.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're real shitty looking cars too. They weren't all like Maseratis or Porsches or anything like that. But they had the one I used to love, because even though I've been to San Antonio and they had different cities, but I love the Miami one because I knew Miami from vacation down that area, a lot of my life. So I would be like, oh yeah, I know. I kind of know where I'm going. I mean, it looks kind of this, that, and the other thing, but I used to just laugh. He never took it seriously. The violent. I mean, it's a very violent game. There's no doubt. Oh, so is when people sit down and try to save the country on the couch. With the what's that game? What's the game when they're at war? Everybody's glory. What is it? What do you call it?
I know it's on a freaking.
Forget what it is, but you know what I'm saying. The people would take. It's like you're sitting on your couch. You said, meanwhile, people like yourself who are in the army must get a kick out of people. Yeah, it saved the world from my couch. Just.
Well, I had one. So the original Xbox 360, I may have had. I think I upgraded. So I had the green one that was a big square. Then the black, and that was when Roy Halladay was on the cover for Major League Baseball.
Oh yes. Before
I got I forgot who it was. Was it Cobb or somebody? One of the two had I think it was like 50 games, like a hitting streak. It was a ridiculous amount of number. And here I wasn't even thinking about it, right? And I'm just every game, I bat up. Of course, you win, you lose, whatever. And then for some stupid reason, like the one day when I popped it on, I went to look and see, what are the records? Like it didn't faze me that there was a part of it, because I was always check like the win-loss standings and stuff. So I noticed that I was a hit away from tying it. And I thought, that's pretty neat. Now, the dumb thing in the back of my mind, I'm saying, all right, I'm not going to put any freaking pressure on myself. Well, I get to the top or the bottom of the eighth. And here I had already gone over. I went over 3. I'm like, I'm not going to get this. Watch. Hit the power button, turn it off, turn it back on. I'm like, yep, now I'm going to tie it. But it's stuff.
It cheated.
Hey, well, no one's going to care. It's not like Major League Baseball's coming after me saying, hey, here's your award, buddy, for doing it on the digital platform. But it's fun, goofy stuff that you just enjoyed. It was a passing. Debbie and I have played this other game where you put like hamburgers and stuff together, and it's timing. So you have to get it down. We played. Yeah, we played Plants vs. Zombies. We beat that. And then whatever the hamburger one was, we've been stuck for the longest. We haven't tried it in over 6 months, but she's played with me. And then, so it's a way just to get away from everything and just have fun with it. So I don't know. I appreciate it. Again, that's just a dork in me, but I appreciate it. It's life.
No, it's no doubt about it. It is. It was fun. A lot of those games were fun.
Yeah.
Here at our amenity center where I live, there's a big, huge game room. Not huge. It's not a huge game. It's not huge. It's okay. Good size. There's a Grogu new updated pinball machine, and there's these 4 big units that have over 250, 300 games, all for free. You don't need any quarters. All the same video games that you and I grew up with, and some of the newer ones actually too, that are all there. Anything from Tempest to Space Invaders to all Pac-Man's Donkey Kong. I mean, Arachnoid, all that stuff. And it just, you can sit there and play for free all day long. It's just crazy.
Hang on for a second. I want people to understand something here. At the Sheppard's Speakeasy Bar, and you have to go through this magical door, and you get into this beautiful outside bar and pool, the game room facilities. Because I remember that you're talking about it now.
Yeah, I took it. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are missing out on the Sheppard's Speakeasy Tiki Bar.
Yeah, and when there's not a lot of kids, because the little kids don't appreciate it, they can't do it. Why are the lights blinking?
It's a sign.
It's a sign from God. It's a sign from God. We have to take a break in a minute. Yeah, so our internet, our Wi-Fi is supposed to get repaired here between now and 10:30. Hopefully, that will be the case. And but anyway, we're going to take another quick break, Angel, because coming up at the top of the hour, Steve Buckley going to join us from The Athletic, who thinks he knows more about The Godfather than I do, but he's wrong. I'm sure that will come up. But we'll talk about the Red Sox and now a 2-game lead over Kansas City heading into the break. It's just amazing, and they're crawling right up the Yankees and Baltimore's Tookuses. They are right there as they go tooth and nail for the division. But they are in the division hunt. We'll see if things have changed, that they are going to be buyers and not sellers, God forbid, or they're going to be complacent. We'll get Buck's take on the whole thing. Again, thanks everybody for checking us out across the Coastal Sports Network video platform. We're limited today on Twitter because I updated my Twitter account and they took the blue check mark away, hopefully just for another few hours or maybe another day. But they're just finicky like that. I changed a little profile thing, and they make you pay for it. But thanks to you checking us out on Facebook and Broad Street South Facebook pages, YouTube. We're powered by IMTV, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, Rumble, Sports Radio 102.9. And Angel said you can hear us later on the iHeart app, right? iHeart Radio.
Yeah, later. So yes, on the replay from the audio, you guys will be able to hear later on iHeart, because we are listed.
Awesome. All right, 727-858-6650. That is the number. Also to call or text. Quick break. Then side, Steve Buckley from The Athletic will join me right here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, IonTP.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur.
You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
She could also make monsters disappear.
You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show. Don't spaz out because
this woman put back together
you're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show,
which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces. Just by giving her a bear hug, she masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Pete?
Hang on. Sorry about that. I had to refresh.
You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Show here. We're halfway through July already. About 92 and sunny down here in Fort Myers. Actually, it's 80 degrees and sunny down here, but it feels about 180. But that's okay. You know, my next guest from the Athletic is Steve Buckley. You know, he sent me a video last night. He said, you know, Pete Sheppard said this and Pete Sheppard said that. And I said, yeah, sure. So Steve Buckley from the Athletic joins us. The second best Godfather knowledge on the planet after myself. Steve Buckley covers the Red Sox in Major League Baseball. Buck, how you doing? Thanks for taking a few.
I was working in the olive oil business with Pete.
And of course, we lost Buck. Hang on, Buck. We lost you for a second.
Screen here. So he'll come back. It's one or two, and unfortunately, because of here he comes. There he is.
All right, there he is. There he is. All right, Buck. Sorry, you got cut off there. But yeah, you were saying what?
That I was working in the olive oil business with your father.
But that was a long time ago. We cut out again. Brother. I don't know whose end this is. That's on his end or our end. What? Feels like somebody's sabotaging it today. I all right. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. We'll just. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine. For some reason, your video keeps cutting out. I don't understand why. Well, Buck. Anyway, yeah, you worked, but that was a long time ago in the olive oil business. Absolutely. How you doing? No question. Absolutely. All right, let's get right into this team. I texted you yesterday. You had a nice day with some family members at the game, beautiful day, and a nice win for the Red Sox. Now, tough, man, I remember you being on. Last time we talked was in March. It was right before the season was supposed to start, and you said if this happens, if that happens, I think there were about 7 ifs. And I'd say, Buck, that you were dead on with 6 of them. 6 of the ifs have happened, and that's why this team is not only in the wild card. They'd be a wild card team right now. They're in the race for the division. I can't believe what I'm seeing. The question is, though, what kind of power does Breslow have, and is John Henry going to stop him from doing it whenever he decides to come out of hibernation? Because since last we spoke in March, he's still nowhere to be seen except for that one day standing outside at JetBlue for a couple of seconds. What's your gut feeling about all this? And have you got to speak with? I know Breslow was on Nesson with the guys the other day, and for some reason it was the one time I didn't watch. I was walking the dog or something like that, and I missed it. But uh, did he say anything meaningful? Mhm. Sure. Yeah. Yes. No question. I mean, 28 since June 12th. If they don't have the best record in baseball, it's got to be first or second or third. But I think it's first or second. But it all started with us beating up on the Yankees, and we could talk about Devers and him owning them, especially Garrett Cole, until hell freezes over. But basically, they've been playing sort of playoff baseball since that time, since that series win over the Yankees, back on June 12th. But I got to tell you, yesterday you mentioned Duran. That was my favorite offensive play of the year. I get the Packers down here, so I watch most of their games. The first hit he got in between second and short, I think on the switch, and you could tell first 3 steps, boom, it was like Pete Rose-esque. I'm going for 2. You could sense it. It was amazing, and even if the throw was dead on, he would have been safe anyway. If you're looking at the replay, even though the shortstop dropped the ball or second baseman dropped the ball, whatever. That was my favorite offensive Red Sox play of the year. I love to see that. And I talked with Sean McAdam about this a couple of weeks ago, Buck. All of a sudden, I believe his name's escaped me. It's the third base coach who is also the running coach. All of a sudden, this team looks like a bunch of Lou Brocks, Maury Will. I mean, Ricky Henderson's. The base running instincts that this team has is unlike any other Red Sox team I've seen in a long time. Even the World Series ones didn't run bases like this team, and that was their big downfall last year. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, most of these games, really the last 20 games, have felt like playoff games because they were so far behind, not too long ago, 14 games behind. And now this is, to me, Buck, I'm not going to say it, but well, I am going to say it. Could this be the antithesis of 1978? Red Sox have a 14 and a half game lead over Milwaukee back then, not the Yankees. And, but nevertheless, we know what happened in 78. They're down 14 and a half to the Orioles and the Yankees now. If they ever come back and win this division, they've already exercised all the demons. But this would kind of be like another cherry on top of the cake or the parfait. Yeah. Yeah. When you write your column, mention me. Yeah, credit me. I always think back to that game that was 78, and I was in fifth grade. You're a couple years older than me, but they let us out of school in Warwick, Rhode Island, an hour early to go home, elementary school, to go see that game. So to go listen to it, watch it on ABC, whatever you were doing. And people always, they remember Bucky Dent, they remember all that stuff. What they don't remember was the play of the game was Lou Piniella sticking his glove out. I think was it Remy who hit a shot to the gap and right center, and Pinella stuck his glove out in the sun, had no idea what he was doing, and somehow the ball went in it. Otherwise, that changes the whole identity of that game. But people never bring that play up. That was the play of the game. Yeah, it was, and I mean, it kind of still is. Maybe it's lost a little luster as of late. Maybe we need a good old-fashioned brawl like the Orioles had with the Yankees the other day. At least that was sort of a real baseball brawl, unlike somebody else. But I don't know. It's still going to be great. I can't wait. I forget the next time on schedule when we play the Yankees, but and Baltimore for that matter. But that's going to be unbelievable if it continues this way down the stretch. I bet there are certain teams, Buck, certain teams welcoming an All-Star break, like the Dodgers. I mean, they're just trying to lose every which way they can. And then you got the opposite, the Red Sox, who I'm sure don't want to kill the All-Star. They want to keep it going right now. Everybody needs a rest and everything else, but you think mentally, and especially a guy like Durant who started 95 straight games. People don't realize that. I mean, what the mental strength of this team right now? Where is it at? And if they don't do anything, where do you think it'll be at? When we come back on Friday in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. Yeah. 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 Yeah, well, as you said, the tough series to open up a pissed off Dodger team that's probably welcoming the break. That's where they begin on Friday night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday out at Dodger Stadium. Then they got three with Colorado, and then they got the Yankees for two at home at Fenway, July 26th and 27th. So who knows? Those two games might be for first place coming up if all goes well. It's going to be exciting. A three-team race in the American League East right now. I hope it maintains itself because it's what baseball needs. I mean, in the Northeast, the fans of this show, from my fans in the Northeast, they understand it. We have a lot of people. We have, because we're national now. But Angel Martinez is he's from Philadelphia, Buck. He's a huge Phillies guy, despite the fact they got clobbered yesterday. How about the A's yesterday? 15 hits and 8 of them home runs. But this Red Sox team, I'm beyond impressed. I'm blown away. Is there any one or two players on this team that have just jumped off at you like, wow, I didn't see that coming? Yeah. Yep. Mhm. Yep. All right, Buck. A couple of things before I let you go. The Major League Baseball draft was held last night. I watched a little of it. I watched a lot more college baseball, probably than most people, and especially down here, following Miami and Florida State, where I am, and everybody knows about Jack Caglione and what he can do. First baseman for the Gators. I mean, it's a home run a day, it seems. But let's get the Red Sox player, because Texas A&M was in the championship this year against Tennessee. They take Braden Montgomery, the right fielder out of Texas A&M. I think I consider it somewhat of a steal, to be honest with you, that they got him for what I saw in the College World Series anyway, and what he's done in A&M. I think it's a great pickup for the Red Sox for a first rounder. Yeah, University of Maine. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Well, who could ever forget, Buck? A couple more things. Who could ever forget uh, Todd Van Poppel, right? Who's going to be the next thing since Sandy Koufax? Oops, by the Oakland A's. And remember how highly touted that kid was? Yeah. Hmm. That's all right. Before we get to the old time baseball game, when is the Steve Buckley colon the Rick Rodney years going to come out? I have to ask you this for years, and you won't write that book. Yeah. Remember, we used to have that joke all the time. I know. Yep. Yep. Well, one big skill you do have that nobody else does, or not many, is the old-time baseball game. 30th, I can't believe, Buck, it's been 30 of these now since August 22nd at St. Peter's Field in Cambridge. And just tell our audience, in case they don't know about it, this is such an awesome event that you have put together. And I know that St. Peter's Field in Cambridge means a lot to you, man. But man, they could almost have. I feel like if they had this game at Fenway, you draw a great crowd. You draw a great crowd anyway over there. Happy to say I've been there a couple of times to watch in person. But tell everybody about the details of this game and how you put it together. 30 years, Buck. Wow. Yep. Yep. We lost everybody. Oh, there you go. Mhm. Yep. Buck, you're the best. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes, and hopefully, if you ever get down this way again, let me know. Definitely go have some cigars and some dinner. But always a pleasure, and we'll talk to you again down the road after the All Star break. I'm sure. Hopefully, this will continue for the rest of the way. This is a fun team to watch. Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Buck. We'll talk to you soon. All right, that is Steve Buckley from the Athletic. All right, no break, Angel, because I don't know. Kevin Winter. I forget if he worked overnight last night on ESPN Radio or not. He has crazy hours, but joining me now, our final guest of the day.
Didn't
from
work last
ESPN
night. We drank
Radio.
yesterday at the pool. Poolside, Pete. We drank all
And
day.
nice, and one of the greatest gingers you'll ever meet. It is the one and only Kevin Winter from ESPN Radio. You fucking maniac!
You
How you
put
doing,
me
buddy?
on you put me on camera. What's wrong with you? Don't send me a link for cameras. Jesus God. Oh, I
So
love
you're
you,
sitting
brother.
with slumming with me too. Slumming by the pool yesterday, watching the Red Sox.
Nope, no, there was no TV. There were no TVs on. It was it was just slumming by the pool and well, maybe consuming some beverages.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that. Well, and I don't get a chance to speak to you a lot because you do work. You do between the studio hosting that you do and the play-by-play stuff that you do. You're busy, busy, busy. And then I don't want to wake you up now that I'm doing drive. I appreciate you.
Hang on. It came close because I got to do the Derby tonight. I'm with the crew for the Derby tonight. So when I get the text, I went, "Urgh," and then I went, all right. But then Yeah, but the next time I'm not going to see this guy, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to talk to him again until college football season. So I figured let's do it now.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate it. And the studio work you're doing, I want to ask, what was it like for you? Because you don't hide your feelings. I mean, if Stephen A could go on these ridiculous rants about the Knicks, sorry, they're fixing on the internet, by the way. That's my dog Chara barking.
Love it.
Right, easy. Oh, good Lord. But you don't hide your emotions about being a women's sports fan because nobody does anymore. I love it. So, what was that like for you working the studio on a national radio basis for all that? I watched on TV mostly, but I did hear you from time to time driving in the car, racing home to watch the game. That had to be so much fun for you.
For the Celtics, it was incredible. Now, the one side, someone asked me, they said, "Are you having fun doing this?" And it was more of, as a fan, I wasn't, because as a fan, I said, I'm not going to have fun until there's triple zeros on the clock in the clinching game, whatever the fourth win is, right? Because they had to win, Pete. They had to win. So,
yes.
And it wasn't fun, because if they didn't win, the Stephen A's, everyone, it's not just Stephen A, and I don't like saying that for him, but you mentioned his name.
No, I hear you.
Every analyst at ESPN, every analyst nationwide would just crap all over this team. And it would be, that would actually be worse and less enjoyable than what I experienced. But when triple zeros hit, actually it was when Pritchard hit the halftime shot. Because Monica McNutt would join me every halftime from the site.
Yeah.
I said, I get the feeling this is Celtics Lakers in 2008. Like, I get the feeling the blowout's coming.
Yeah.
In fact, it's already here, but I could sit there and watch it with the fun eye. And then for the second half, I said, you get the lead going to the fourth quarter, and I just said to myself, the game is either 3 4-minute segments or 4 3-minute segments, right? Win each segment, and the title is yours. And I'm not gonna lie, a little tear came down my eye when it was all said and done, because it was awesome. It's a dream come true. I'm not gonna lie, it's a dream come true. Where'd Pete go? Hi, Pete froze. Hi, Angel.
No question about.
There we go. We're buffering Pete.
Okay,
We're buffering Pete.
Get back. Yeah, that's good. But you talked about some of your colleagues, and I would sit here. Monica was probably the most logical of everybody. I think sometimes, and it's not just people that you work with at ESPN, but others that try so hard to be the fake contrarian. But to me, they were looking at so many of the analysts were looking at stuff that I'm like, you're paying attention to the wrong thing. Tatum needs to score 25 every night, or he can't be considered elite, or he can't be considered his leg. If I had the word goddamn legacy up one more time, or Brown, and I used to say on the air, I was like, obviously you haven't been paying attention to what this team is all about. It is a true team.
Yes.
Sacrifices have been made from the get-go. From Drew Holiday, his point average going down by like 3 or 4 points a game. And everybody, it was a team effort. Nobody complained. Nobody was bitching and moaning about getting touches and points and all this stuff. They didn't focus at all on Derek White and his defense, offensive rebounding and defense. There were so many great things about this team that weren't talked about until the very, very, very end. And I think a lot of people just missed the boat on how great this team was all year long, because they were relating everything back to last year and a couple of years earlier.
Well, yes, and I want to take this twofold. Number one, we live in such an instant results society, but it's not just instant results. We want someone to be the face of that results, don't we, Pete?
Yeah.
We always look for someone to be the face. Granted, this team has Tatum, but they don't have necessarily, on any given night, it can be a different face, okay? I understand if you wanted to question a little bit if Porzingis was going to be the difference maker, depending on how healthy he was. I get that. But when you got the matchup with Dallas, no, sorry. Also, don't question the road that they took, because they built that road. They paved that road. I understand Milwaukee, bleep the bed. I understand Philly. Well, first off, I was never sold on Philly because the Celtics would beat Philly anyway. That's just Philadelphia. This year may be different. I don't know. Probably not.
Yep.
But when it comes to stuff like that, Pete, we want to we want to find something because we hate talking about how easy something is. We always want to come up with why is something so easy. That's the issue that's the issue that I always had.
But again, so many people, and NBA TV people did it too. I mean, they just spoke. It was all about Brown and Tatum and. Do you remember when Dame Lillard signed with Milwaukee? Somebody automatically handed the people the trophy.
Sure.
The Milwaukee. I was like, and after we got Porzingis, Andrew Holiday, I'm like, what are you people nuts? And I always quote Herb Brooks all the time, the late great Herb Brooks. I'm not necessarily looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones.
Yes,
because
hang on.
How many
100% accurate.
Super teams try to assemble?
Yeah, hang on. Super teams don't work anymore.
How many super teams have been trying to be assembled?
A bunch. And how many of them won?
7 years to get there.
And how many of those super teams won? And don't call Golden State a super team because none. Because the only time Golden State was a super team was the year they had Kevin Durant. They won a couple, but they had already had the base established. They had already had Curry, Clay, and Draymond. They were already in-house. They were drafted. That was not the true way, the way you assemble a super team like people do now. You know, it's totally different.
Absolutely.
And the way when Holiday became available, I was wondering. I went, okay, can Brad go ahead and grab Jrue Holiday because he's going to get moved out of Portland? That was the question, and I wasn't sure about giving up Robert Williams when the deal because I really liked that kid when he was healthy.
I did too.
I did too. I loved that kid when he was healthy. So now here's the question. Once he got him, I went, okay, he pulled the trigger. That's not my decision to make. He pulled the trigger. And now let's see how this fits because you've got a matchup you've got the counter to Lillard. You just got the guy who can defend Lillard. If it were indeed Milwaukee as the team that could beat Boston or that would be your number one competitor, which according to the odds makers for most of the season, it was Boston, Milwaukee. Well, and then here's the other thing. We hardly ever get, Pete, in the regular season, we hardly ever get a chance to see all these matchups because you never know when who's going to rest, who's coming off the back-to-back. I remember the Celtics played in Milwaukee on a Thursday night. They got blown out by like 40 or whatever. It was over at halftime.
Yeah.
And the reason it happened, Boston had just played Minnesota the night before in overtime.
Yep.
So, and it was like 4 games in 5 days. So the regular season games you can't match up. I don't know. It got frustrating for me about all the talk. And look, here's the only other thing for Boston now. Let's go back and do it again and shut everyone up. Run it back and shut them all up.
Well, I agree. Well, I got everybody back, so it's been really
exactly, which I loved, which I absolutely loved.
Joey says, good morning to everybody. Good morning, Joey B. Now, I want to ask you about another former colleague of yours, JJ Redick. And look, there were times JJ, to me, always seemed to think he's the smartest person in the room. He's a terrific analyst. He knows the game, obviously. I hate Duke, but that's neither here nor there. Jason Tatum went to Duke, and it doesn't matter. But there were times I thought this season, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want. I felt like Doris Burke, who I love to death, wanted to go up to him and just punch him in the face. And he's got that Duke smugness about him that everybody hates. So I didn't know if you had dealings with him, if he talked down to you, I feel like he tries to talk down to the audience. He's always the smartest person in the room. And he's going to fall flat in his fucking ass in Los Angeles. He will never, ever, ever get through 4 years in Los Angeles with that organization. No way.
I never had a chance to talk to JJ during the year, and obviously, and for the most part, I don't see him on TV because whether he's doing the Saturday game, whether Mike and Doris are doing the Saturday game or the Sunday game, we're doing the other game. We're doing that game on radio, so I don't get to see them like that. So I can't answer. From the times I've watched on other games when he would work during the week, I like his basketball analysis.
I do too.
I'm not going to go into how someone, what their approach is. That's the job for others. I'll let you rip that shit apart. I also learned I can now say a bad word. I heard you say it earlier.
Oh, you say whatever you want. I mean, sometimes though people come on the show and they're still, because if their current place of employment doesn't want to, they still think they have to censor themselves, but you don't. Okay, I was going to. Joey B's bringing up what happened last night at Hard Rock Stadium.
I watched.
What a shit show. But I said to my wife about 5 hours before, I go, I wouldn't go anywhere near that stadium. I go, there's something going to happen before, maybe during, and probably after, no matter who wins, Argentina or Colombia. But I did not expect. I'm trying to think. Can you imagine an event imagine the Super Bowl where that stadium is hosted before, no matter what the name of it was. Can you imagine a Super Bowl, an NBA Finals, a Stanley Cup Final, World Series, NASCAR event, anything? Can you imagine if that happened?
And 7,000 fans on ticket to go in.
barbaric animals. And I played the video. You got women losing children, people getting trampled. Did you see the part with the video? The lady brought in a dog. She trampled away. She got in with her dog on a leash.
I thought that was a stray dog. I saw the video. I thought it was a friggin' stray. I'm like, where did that come from? What are we doing?
It was on a leash.
What are we doing?
It was on a leash.
All right, so
I was embarrassed.
Well, I mean, it was an absolute disaster. And then so here's what I'm also thinking of is I'm watching because I'm in Norfolk, so I'm two par fives from Gillette right now.
Yeah.
What's coming here in 2 years, Pete?
Yeah,
exactly. They're hosting it. Gillette's hosting the World Cup.
But you're not going to see that.
No, you're not. And it's going to be better coordinated. I don't know the coordination of what the plan in place, who's in charge. Is it CONCACAF? Is it what do they call it? CONMEBOL, whatever it is, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know who's in charge of Hard Rock last night.
In general, yeah.
Whatever it was, I don't know who's in charge. It was a mess. Actually, and the worst part is it took away from a hell of a game because I actually stayed awake to watch that. That was a hell of a soccer match last night.
And Lionel Messi goes down in the 63rd minute. And
size that ankle, dude.
Oh my God.
Oh,
most of the time, soccer flops are the worst.
Oh,
I knew from him was legit. And
yes.
You're right. His ankle looked like
it looked like a watermelon.
Coconut and a pineapple.
It looked like a coconut. I'm with you, 100%. Absolute 100% looked like a watermelon because like some of the guys, I love in soccer where it's you get hit, you fall down, you cry, you act like I'm not going to get in trouble and say what you act like. You act like something bad, like uber bad just happened to you. But when there's no whistle and play on, well, miraculously you're healed. And you're up and running.
Well, no, you know what it is. No, you know what it is, Kev. You know what it is. The magic spray.
Yes. Oh yeah, that magic freeze dust. But sometimes you don't even get that because you're not even allowed to stop playing. So magically you're up and running when you realize, oh crap, they didn't call a foul. All right, well, time to go do the next one. But I liked the match last night. It was a hell of a match. I felt bad for Colombia too. I wanted to see Colombia win. We got a couple Colombia kids who run our boards, including our main board op for all of our remote events at ESPN. He's a diehard Columbia fan. I wanted to see it for him. He says they sit at ESPN because you got the diversity at ESPN. They sit at ESPN. They all got their jerseys on and everything. He came in. He came in to watch the final night of the group stage. He came in to watch both screens because he could get two screens at ESPN. He lives 30 seconds down the road. He could watch them all. Great.
Well, and I'll tell you what, it's disappointing. Maybe you can, I thought Alexi Lalas, who's the soccer that I do watch, and he's usually pretty good analyst. I thought he embarrassed himself last night pre-game when he talked with Alexi Lalas last night.
Right. I said, in which way?
He started giving the excuses. Oh, these are just passionate soccer fans, and this goes to show that soccer is so big in this country. Yeah, it is big, but not in the MLS. It's not big. Certain states it is, but not. And Miami is one where it absolutely is. Portland, others, but to to have him like almost make excuses. He kind of poo-pooed it, and as usual, nobody challenges anybody. He just sits there and goes off about these are real passionate soccer. They're talking about throwing thousands of people who came in illegally. People who got hurt, bringing dogs in on leashes, and he's just making excuses for them. Like this is why soccer is good in America, because we have all these passionate fans from different countries. That has nothing to do with anything. You know, you don't see that anywhere else. When's the last time on U.S. soil you saw people like that storm a stadium?
I know.
We make fun of people like that in Europe that do that.
You brought up, you hit something right there. And if we've got time, we'll do it.
Yeah,
Why don't you think people challenge anyone anymore? And it happens occasionally, but unscripted challenging and not trying to pick a fight. There's a difference, everyone, and I think it happens in all walks of life, right? It happens in different walks of life. I can question you without saying I hate you. That's not what happens. Everyone. Stop being soft. Why is it, Pete? Why don't we challenge people anymore?
I'll give your network credit. They're getting better at it. They're getting better because in the past it was like people just say what they want, these ridiculous, outrageous things, and there's no challenges anymore. So occasionally when I do watch the shows, when I watch Get Up, when I watch First Take occasionally, I don't watch a whole lot of it because they're not telling me anything. For me, it's just me. They're not telling me anything basically that I don't already know. But I'd be honest with you, getting back to I would sit in there and listen to Perk until the very end because he couldn't make more of a jackass out of himself than he was making before the finals when he finally turned it around. And I knew what was going on. He's pissed off because he didn't get the TV job that Scal got. He thought he was going to go in there full time at NBC Sports Boston and get that job. It didn't happen. And all of a sudden, I'm not saying he had to be fanboy Celtics, but as Mr. Spock would say, the torrential flood of illogic was just, oozing through the TV. And some of your colleagues did challenge him on that most days.
Okay, good. I mean, again, like some of the things I see, some of the things I don't. And by the way, I love Big Perk. Big Perk's my boy. I didn't even know he was up for the Celtics for the full-time gig. I did not even know that. It happens in all walks of life where we don't challenge anyone. I almost think we're afraid. Either we're afraid to hurt their feelings, or someone's gonna think, "Oh my God, he hates me." And then I don't hate you. I'm asking you a question. It's like it's like if you ask a kid. I don't have a kid, but I have nephews. I ask them, what the hell did you do? Right? Why'd you do that? I don't.
What do you mean you don't have any kids?
I don't.
You know what? You know what? I know somebody who can get you some kids.
No thanks. No thanks. No.
I'll give you Tyreek Hill's phone number.
No, I don't want him.
He won't miss any of his 12.
Jesus, I don't want 8 kids. Just, Pete, if I wanted kids, if there's one of kids, I could do something about it. But I don't want a kid.
As far as you know.
Right, well, hey, look, Father's Day shows up. We'll play the joke. Every Father's Day, look in the mail. Nope, we're good. We're good, buddy. No mail, no messages. It's like if you see your kids, you challenge your kids. Why did you do that? I don't hate you.
Yep.
But this is what happens, and we don't challenge people in any society. You could say anything in any walk of life anymore. Oh yeah, okay, good for ratings. Check the box. Next, move on to the rundown. It's like, come on.
Kevin. Here's the problem, and regardless of what
sure.
What happened over the weekend, with the whack job, with Thomas Matthew Crooks. Here's the problem with society. I could say right now to you, Kevin, you know what? It's a beautiful blue sky today. You're a Biden supporter. You're a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
No, I just said the sky was blue. I'm not saying either you're with us or you're against us. This is not Anakin Skywalker versus Obi-Wan Kenobi and Revenge of the Sith. I mean, you can't say anything anymore about anything.
No.
And somebody makes it political. It is a joke. It's a joke what has gone on.
My dad once told me, in this going off base, if it is, it is. My dad, and you know this from being in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
My dad once told me, before he died in 2003, we lost the ability, the days of Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan getting together. The days of Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan getting together and figuring shit out are long gone. And that was Pete. So he's probably telling me back that 25 years ago. And how prophetic is it? Because Now we're in this. I mean, God, I hate the word swamp, but we're in the swamp with it. You can't do any, and again, this goes back to any walk of life. We go back to there used to be rules for places. Now you can come to work dressed like you want. Whatever happened to a professional environment, right? You knew this. Whatever happened to a professional environment sometimes. That doesn't happen.
No,
whatever.
I just think every single topic has become politicized. It's really so sad. And this doesn't and sports and everything else. It's just unbelievable.
So I watched this year's NBA as I'm watching all the free agency unfold. I'm trying to think of teams that will challenge the Celtics. Sixers. I know people forget Milwaukee for the upcoming year, right? People forget Milwaukee because of Giannis. It's still Giannis. I know everyone loves the Knicks. I would love to see Celtics Knicks in the conference finals. I'm not gonna lie.
I would too.
I
would too. Here's the thing: you and I, you know Thibodeau. I've interviewed him before.
Yes,
the guy he's a great guy. He's an excellent coach. They got the Villanova 4 there now, the Villanova Knicks.
Yep.
And what do you have to? While we're talking about that, what Brunson did the other day, and I have people making he
$113 million he left on the table, dude.
Yeah, no, his dad maybe some of that's going to go to him. And yes,
whatever.
They want to build statues of him now in front of Madison Square Garden because the ultimate sacrifice. And I understand all that. I'm sure the rest of the league hates his guts for doing that.
I guarantee the NBA Players Association isn't happy.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
However, I think if that team stays reasonably healthy, that to me would be the team that would give the Celtics the biggest challenge.
Good.
I think Philadelphia. The only problem I don't say Philadelphia, and I think they're definitely going to be there. Obviously, is because it's the unknown about Joel Embiid in the postseason.
Yep.
That's it. You don't know. And not to sound like how people treated the Celtics after Miami last year, but Joel Embiid has a really big track record here of, getting injured come playoff time, and then certain big games, he's not there.
No, and that's what sucks about it because and now you wonder how many of these players want to try to reach that 65 game threshold because that's how you get paid, because that's what you need to make those all NBA teams. You wonder how many guys want to try to really stretch that, but does it come at the loss of what's down the line in the playoffs, right? Does it come what's down the line of in round one? I understand the playoffs are spread out. Trust me, I get it. I work constantly for during the playoffs, and we're working every night because we got a game every night. But if you can't answer the bell come conference semis and conference finals, I don't care what you did during the regular season. I really don't.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Kev, a couple more fun things. One is, do you know what today is?
Monday, July 15th.
Today is Happy College Football 25 Day. College football, EA Sports. There are people taking days out of work today of all ages.
Is this the game that came back? This is it? Nice.
Yes. So
who's on the cover? I don't even know.
Yours, Edwards, and Hunter. So Texas, Michigan, and
Travis Hunter. I'm a huge fan of Travis. A huge fan of Travis. And then Quinn Ewers out of Quinn Ewers and
Texas.
Edwards.
Who's a backup? Yeah, and Edwards for Michigan.
Yeah.
So I used to love that guy. I used to like taking teams like Ball State and Akron and playing out there and trying to get to go undefeated with those teams. Anybody can do it with Alabama and But anyway, that's just one thing.
All right, that's today. I like it.
That's today. Take me through. You're in studio tonight for Home Run Derby. First of all, do you enjoy all the backs? And what? Tell me what your day is like the rest of the day. And because people like to know this behind the scenes stuff while you go into the ESPN radio studios to do the Home Run Derby. And I'm assuming you working the All-Star game, too?
No, I'm not. I'm taking my aunt up to Lake Waukesha in New Hampshire tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm taking her up to New Hampshire. I was trying to.
So what's your day like today?
This is simple. I'm going back to bed as soon as you and I are done. I'm not gonna lie. I woke up just to do this for you, buddy. The alarm was set for 9:50. The alarm was set for 9:15. I'm looking. I want to do this. I'm pulling up the Derby. I want to find the Derby. All right, home run Derby winner tonight. We'll do that in a moment. We'll do our odds before we finish.
Okay.
and so hang on. I'm probably going to leave about 1:00. Before I cross state lines into Connecticut, we're going to place a couple of bets on the Derby because I use ESPN Bet, and believe it or not, ESPN Bet isn't authorized in Connecticut yet, so I can't bet in Connecticut.
That is ridiculous.
So I don't know. Like I learned that a while ago. I'm like, why can't I do this? And then I realized ESPN Bet's not authorized because they don't have. You need a casino or someone to back you, and FanDuel and DraftKings were already connected to Mohegan and Foxwoods. So they need that. They need that extra backing.
Okay,
you got that. Get the extra backing. So anyway, we're so the rest of the day is simple. Go back to bed, wake up at 1, and then head to work and go. And it's a fun night working the Derby tonight. Roxy Bernstein's calling it on radio. Carl Ravitch is doing it on the television side. And then the rest of the week is simple. It's not as much because we got to. Mark Kestisher will slide in and do the. We bring Kesty out of the play-by-play back to his old roots. Put him back to his old roots to do the game tomorrow night.
Does a great job. Yep.
Oh, I love Kesty. And look, I'll tell you this: if it weren't for Kesty and his ascension to play-by-play, I'm not in the position I'm in because, and I think he'll tell you the same thing because if it weren't for me being ready to take over this role years ago, then Kesty isn't allowed to go out on the road as much as possible. So, the two of us are tied at the hip, and I absolutely love it. I have no problem riding his coattails. So that's it. By the way, tonight,
yes,
give me Marcelo Zuna plus 425.
All right, I like that. I tell you what, I mean, Pete Alonso always seems to do well in this stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know, I haven't seen the odds of it because you can bet down here in Florida, the Hard Rock app.
Yeah.
So you got Marcelo Zuna. That's a great pick for the Braves.
Yeah.
I am going to go. I'm going to go with Bobby Witt Jr.
425. Both he and Marcelo are the second betting favorite. I pulled the odds up right now. If you want to take a flyer on a real long shot, Teoscar Hernandez at 10-1 plus 1,000. That'd be my long shot.
Not bad.
So check with me in the morning.
Not bad at all. Awesome. All right, Kev. Thanks so much. Always appreciate you. And
let's talk during football season, buddy.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Thanks again, Kev.
All right,
go back to bed. All right.
Back to bed.
Take care. Oh man, great show. Ended up being a great show today. That's about going to do it for us. And I have to get out of here, Angel. Been awesome today. Thank you so much, Angel, pulling up all the video, chatting, and doing all the stuff behind the scenes. It's great. So, are you back today on your show?
I was going to be back, but since now I have to check out as far as what happened with X there, I have to make sure the settings are good because then, of course, the 12 o'clock show with Middays with Q, I want to make sure he's lined up and fired up and stuff. So I have to test that. I also got to test out the phone line as well because for some reason the call came through on the app. This is why I emphasized it a ton. But for some reason it didn't come through on the socials. So it might have just been an offsetting for whatever odd reason. But
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be back hopefully come tomorrow as long as everything's ironed out.
All right, bud. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7. Thanks again to everybody. Thanks right there to Kevin Winter, ESPN Radio, and earlier Steve Buckley from The Athletic. Everybody have a great, safe rest of your Monday. Be kind to each other, please. Don't go anywhere near Hard Rock Stadium. They'll be rebuilding that for the next 2 months before football season starts. I am Pete. He is Angel. And we're back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Thanks everybody for checking us out here on the Coastal Sports Network. Bye.